Okay, welcome back to e-commerce and digital marketing course. Now we are in chapter 7, and in this chapter we're going to talk about social commerce. Okay, so before we talk about uh, social commerce, we need to talk about the Web 2.0, okay? The behind the social commerce, okay? Before the social commerce begins, okay? Um, You know that internet growing up and becoming way more interactive nowadays. Back in the early days of the internet, the websites were like just reading newspapers online. You can only look at what you someone else created. But now the Web 2.0 changed everything. So around the mid of the 2000, okay, suddenly you became the star. Okay, this is when the platforms like Facebook, the YouTube, the blogs exploded because now regular people like us could create and share our own content, our own pictures, photos, video, posts, or whatever. And it's called user generated content because we users are making the stuff. So it's not just the big companies. We are the users making the stuff. And think about how you use Instagram or TikTok. You're not just watching, you're creating, you comment, you sharing, and even connecting with friends. This is Web 2.0. It made the internet social and participatory, which is why we call it the social media revolution. So instead of just consuming information, we are all actively participating in creating the online world together. It's very cool, pretty cool how it transformed from one-way street into this massive interactive community where everyone has a voice, right? Okay, so now let's talk about social media and social marketing in simple terms. Okay, so social media is basically all those apps and websites you're already using every day, like Line, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, where you share your thoughts, your thinking, your photos, videos, music, and chat with friends. So it's like having a giant online hangout space where everyone can express themselves and connect with others. And now the social marketing is when the business gets smart and say, hey, since everyone's hanging out on this platform, let's use them to reach our customers. Okay? So instead of just putting up boring TV ads, the companies nowadays they create the engaging content, run targeted ads, and interact directly with people on social media to promote their products or services. So you might see how the bubble tea shop posting cute photos on Instagram, or how the online stores use the Facebook ads that seems to know exactly what you're interested in buying. That's the social marketing. Okay, that's called social marketing. So it's basically the businesses using the same social platform you love to connect with the potential customers in more personal and interactive way. It's pretty clever because it meets people where they already are, and rather than trying to drag them somewhere else. Okay, everyone. So this diagram might look super technical, but let me break this out for you in a way that makes sense, okay? So think of this as showing how the social media become this massive, the interconnected web where everyone can participate. On the left, you see the people, okay, here. That's all of us users who have our own identities online and feel like we are part of different communities. We connect to different, we connect to various websites and apps, okay, here, using different technologies. Some might be simple web pages, others might be fancy interactive apps or mess up that combine multiple services. And the cool part is on the right side, the big here, the big cloud, it represents where all our data and content lives, mixing together both commercial stuff from companies and user generated content from regular people like us. But here's the interesting part. See that thirdness barrier, okay? The thirdness barrier, it's pointing out that once information crosses into this massive data cloud, it becomes really hard to know who actually owns it or whether it's reliable. Think about when you see a post shared 1,000 times on Facebook or a viral TikTok video. Can you always trace back to the original source or verify if it's true? Yeah, so that's the challenge of the mass social media. It's incredibly powerful for connecting people and sharing information, but it also creates this gray area where the truth and the ownership get blurry. Okay, now let's talk about the social capital and social media marketing. First, the social capital. Think of it like your network of friends, the connections and the relationship. But it's actually valuable like the money in the bank. You know how in Taiwan having good relationship can help you to get things done? That's called the social capital. The more people you know and the stronger your relationship are, the more opportunities you have. Okay, whether it's finding a job to a friend or maybe getting recommendations or collaborating on projects. So it's like your social connections become a source that makes you and your community more productive and successful. Okay, that was the social capital. Now, social media marketing or SMM. Okay, it's basically how the businesses use platforms like Facebook, the Instagram or Line or YouTube to connect with the customers. Okay, so instead of just putting up the traditional ads, the companies create the engaging content, okay, interact with the followers, do the market research by seeing what people are talking about, and build the relationship with the customers online. And the smart part is that the SMM combines the power of the social capital with digital marketing. The businesses try to build the genuine connections and the communities around their brand, just like how you build the friendship, because people are more likely to buy from brands they feel connected to. Okay, so it's like turning marketing into relationship building rather than just pushing products at people. Okay, now let's dive into social networks and these things are called social graph. Okay, so you know how to have how you have friends and your friends have the other friends, and somehow you're all connected in this big web of relationship. Okay, that's basically what our social network is. It's like a map of who knows who. And now the Mark Zuckerberg, okay, the guy who created Facebook, came came up with this term of social graph, okay, to describe how the Facebook could map out these connections between people digitally. And it's originally it was just about Facebook users and their friendships. But then they realized something brilliant. They could use this network of relationship to make everyone's online experience way better. Think about it. When Facebook suggests friends you might know or shows you post from people you care about, or when you see that your friend liked a particular restaurant, that's all using the social graph. So it's like Facebook saying, hey, since you're connected to these people and they liked this stuff, you might be interested too. Okay. And this concept became so powerful that now it applies to all the internet users, not just the page of Facebook. Okay. So every time you see people you may know on the LinkedIn or get some recommendation based on your friends' activities, that's the social graph working behind the scenes. Okay. So using your network of relationship to enhance your digital experience. Okay. Now let's talk about social commerce or SC for short. This is basically when online shopping meets the social media. And I bet you've all experienced this without even realizing it, okay? You know how you might be scrolling through the Instagram and then you suddenly see a cute outfit with the shop now button? Or maybe when you are on Facebook and see an ad for something your friends like, okay, and you can buy it right there without leaving the app. Yeah, that's part of the social commerce. It's also when you are in the line group chat and then someone shares a link to buy something together, or when you see influencers on YouTube promoting a product with discounts code. Yeah, so the idea is that instead of going to a separate shopping website, you can discover, you can research, and actually purchase the products directly through the social platforms or the apps that connect social features with shopping. Think about how many of you have brought things through the Facebook marketplace or purchased items because you saw them in someone's Instagram story, or even buy the stuff through a live streaming shopping event. Yeah, so that's all social commerce. Okay, it's making shopping more social, more interactive, and integrated into the platforms where you already spend your time chatting and connecting with friends. Okay, guys, let's see this flowchart. So this flowchart is about showing you how the social commerce didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's actually the result of the several different fields coming together. So it's like a puzzle pieces, okay? Okay, let me walk you through the story. It all started with four main areas. Okay, the traditional marketing principles, the sociology and social behavior, how the people interact with each other, and the development of the internet and web technology, and the regular e-commerce, like shopping on websites. These four areas, okay, here, I began mixing and creating new things. The marketing evolving into social marketing, and then the sociology helps create online communities, okay, and the internet itself developed into Web 2.0, okay, where users could interact, and the e-commerce runs into mobile commerce and e-commerce, the location-based commerce, okay, and all these streams eventually flow together along with the social media marketing, okay, and even virtual worlds and gaming to create what we now call social commerce, okay, social commerce. It's like making a fusion dish. You take ingredients from the traditional marketing, the human psychology, the internet technology, and online shopping, the mobile apps, and even gaming, mixing them together, and you get something completely new. The ability to shop to the through the social interactions online. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how all these different fields had to evolve and connect before we could get to the point where you can buy something just by clicking on a friend's Instagram post. All right, everyone, this chart looks overwhelming, but it's actually showing us how the social commerce is not just one thing. It's a huge umbrella covering tons of different activities you probably already do, okay? Okay, so let me break down this into four main areas, okay? Social media, and then social media marketing. This includes things like when we when businesses use customer service through the social media, viral marketing, when something spreads like wildfire, and then the video marketing on YouTube or TikTok, and even you trade virtual items in games. Okay, and then second one, it's the enterprise social commerce, which is basically how the businesses use the social platforms, like group buying deals you see on Facebook, and then getting products reviews and ratings, or when the companies crowdsource ideas from users and something like that, okay? And then the third one, a third area is all the tech stuff, technology stuff that makes it work, like the blogs, the wikis, the mobile apps, the security system, and how everything connects together, okay? And finally, there's management and organization, which covers the business strategies, how the companies plan their social commerce, the legal issues they need to handle, and how they expand globally. Okay. So when you see a friend's recommendations for a restaurant on Instagram, you read reviews before buying something online, participate in a group buy for cheaper prices, or even just ask for advice in a line group before making a purchase, you are participating in different dimensions of social commerce. Okay. It's basically how the social interactions and shopping have become completely intertwined in our digital lives. Okay, so let's talk about why social e-commerce is actually awesome for customers. Okay, and I've bet you have experienced these benefits without you even realizing it. Okay, first off, you can save money through group buying and special deals. You know how sometimes you see buy with friends for a discount options? Yeah, that's social commerce working for you. When you have problems with products, the companies respond way faster on social media because complaints are public and they don't want to look bad. Okay? So think about how quickly businesses reply to negative Facebook reviews compared to traditional customer service emails. And the coolest part is that you can reach the huge audience for help through the crowdsourcing. Like when you post in a Facebook group asking, has anyone tried this product? Has anyone tried those products? And then you will get response from thousands of people worldwide. And the companies also become more engaged because they know everyone's watching. So they actually listen to customer feedback and improve their products. Plus, you can help the other customers by sharing your experience in forums or review sections and creating this helpful community vibe. And here's something really convenient. You can search for products, chat about them with friends, and even buy them all while staying on the same social platforms instead of jumping between different websites. Finally, you get better self-service options because you can find answers from others users experience rather than waiting for official customer support. So it's like having a massive network of friends helping you make better shopping decisions. Okay, now let's flip the coin and talk about why businesses absolutely love the social commerce too. Think about it from a company's perspective. Okay, they can save tons of money on customer service because instead of hiring a huge call centers, the customers help each other out in the forums and social media groups. They can test the new products super quickly and cheaply by just posting about them and seeing about how the people react rather than spending millions on traditional markets research. Okay? And the companies get to know their customers way better because people share so much personal information on the social platforms. They share their interests, their complaints, what makes them happy, and so on and so on. So instead of just competing on a price, the businesses can now offer better experiences and build the emotional connections with the customers. They can turn regular customers into unpaid marketers when the people share positive experience with friends. That's way more powerful than the traditional advertisings, right? So in this case, the companies can increase the sales through the direct conversations on the social media, and they build the customer real loyalty because people feel more connected to the brands they interact with regularly. And the smart part is they can use low cost user generated content for marketing, like when customers post the photos using the products, that becomes free advertising materials. Okay, so they can also create viral campaigns where the happy customers naturally spread the word and target specific customer segments more accurately, and then at the same time improve their products based on real-time feedback, increase the revenue through the better customers retention, and build the entire communities around the brands. So it's basically like having a customers become business partner who help with the marketing, product development, and customer service all at the same time. Okay, so now let's talk about how the retailers, those are the actual stores and companies selling stuff, benefit massively from the social commerce. The biggest win for them is getting direct feedback from customers right away. So instead of just wondering what people think, they can see comments, they can see reviews and reactions immediately. They also get free advertising through a word of mouth marketing. When satisfied, customers naturally tell their friends about the products. Think about how you might share a cool purchase on your Instagram story. Yeah, that's one of the free marketing for the brand. And then when retailers drive more uh, traffic to their websites, to the social media, it directly translates to more money because more visitors usually means more sales. Okay. And here's where it gets really smart. They can use collaborative filtering and personalized recommendation based on what your friends like or what similar customers bought, making their marketing way more effective than just a random ads. And the numbers are pretty impressive too. Over 40% of the businesses worldwide are finding new customers through the social network. And more than 20% of the companies are investing in social networking, especially to get closer to their customers and to understand them better. And what's really exciting is that it's creating completely new business models that we have never seen before. It's like businesses built entirely around social recommendations, community driven product development, or subscription service based on the social trend. So it's basically allowing retailers to be more personal, more efficient, and more connected to their customers than ever before. Okay, now let's talk about mobile social networking. Okay, and then we will dive into some real concerns about the social commerce. Right. So mobile social network is pretty straightforward. It's basically what you are all doing every day when you chat, when you share, and when you connect with the people using your smartphone or tablets. You're constantly conversing and connecting through the line, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and other apps right from your phone, which makes social commerce super convenient because you can discover, you can discuss and buy products all from the same device. But here's where you we need to get serious about the downsides and the limitations of the social commerce. There are some real concerns we should talk about, like the privacy issues. It's been discussed many times. Okay, when you shop through the social platforms, they are collecting tons of your data about your preferences, your spending habits, and your personal information. They are Also, the security risk when you're entering the payment information on the various social platforms. And sometimes the information you get from the other users is not reliable. Okay. Just because someone recommends a product, it doesn't mean that it's always a good quality. There can be issues with fake reviews, pressure to buy things because of the social influence, even when you don't really need them. It can be harder to get the proper customer service or return when the problem arises. Also, you might end up spending more money impulsively because social commerce makes buying so easy and immediate. It's important to be smart consumers and think critically about these platforms, even though they are, super convenient. Okay, okay, so let's talk about social shopping in a way that makes total sense. Social shopping is basically when your friends become part of your shopping experience. So instead of shopping alone, you bring your social network along for the ride. Okay. It's trying to recreate that fun experience you have when you go shopping with friends at a mall, but in the digital world. You know how when you're at the physical store, you might ask your friend, well, does this look good on me? Or do you think that I should buy this? Right? So social shopping does the same thing online through the technology and social interactions. There are different concepts within the social shopping, and we'll talk about it. Why people actually prefer shopping this way. Okay. One major type is called communal shopping, okay, which is when shoppers actively invite others to help them make purchase decisions. Like when you post a photo in your group chat asking, which dress should I buy? Or when you share a product link and ask for opinions, that's basically turning shopping from a solo activity into a group activity, even when everyone's in different locations. And the cool thing is that people actually want to shop socially because it feels more natural, reduce the anxiety of making wrong choices, makes shopping more fun and interactive, and helps them to discover new products through their friends' recommendation. And it's like having a personal shopping consultant team made up for your trusted friends. Okay, next up, let's talk about the different roles people play in social commerce. And you're probably like a big social ecosystem where everyone has different personalities and behaviors. Well, first, there's a connector. Okay, this is that friend who's always sharing cool products they found and loves connecting people with great deals and recommendation. And then you have the salesman. Okay, these are the people who are naturally good at persuading others and might even make money through the affiliate marketing or recommending products. Okay. And the next one is the seeker. Seeker is someone who's always asking for advice before buying anything. The person who posts help me to choose, okay, with multiple products options. And then the next one is called Maven, okay? So Maven is like your go-to expert friend who knows everything about certain products and becomes the trusted advisor in your group. Okay. The next one is self-sufficient. So self-sufficient is people prefer to do their own research and shopping, but still use the social platforms to gather the information quietly without much interactions. Okay, and next, unclassified. The unclassified folks who don't fit neatly into any category or might switch between the roles depending on what they are buying. And the cool thing is that these roles work together to create the benefits of the social shopping, like getting better product information, reducing purchase anxiety through friend recommendations, discovering new products you wouldn't find alone, having more fun while shopping, and making more confident buying decisions because you have social validations from the people you trust. All right, so let's explore the different ways of social shopping actually works in real life. And I guarantee you have used most of these models already. The first and most common model is called social recommendation ratings and reviews comparison ratings. Sorry, comparisons and conversations. Okay, so this is the first model. So basically, when you check what the other people think before buying something, like reading the Google reviews for a restaurant or checking the product ratings on the shopping apps. Yeah, so it's called it's the first models, okay? And the second one, it's called group buying and shopping together. So group buying is super popular here in Taiwan. You know, those group purchase deals where you get discounts when enough people buy together, or when you and your friends split shipping cost for online orders. Yeah, so that's part of the group buying and shopping together. And then the next one is called deal purchases. Okay, the flash sales. Okay, and I think this is, I believe that you already been into these flash sales like in Shopee, right? It's like, it's limited time only. Okay, it's called flash sales because it's only limited uh time. It offers you to see sorry, it offers you see on social media that create the urgency and get people to talk to. Okay. And then the next models is called shopping communities and clubs. These are like those Facebook groups where people share products, finds, and deals. Maybe you are in a group for a second-hand textbook, or maybe second-hand products. Maybe some groups in talking about beauty product recommendations. Yes. Okay, and the next model is called peer-to-peer model. Okay, so peer-to-peer models include things like money lending between friends or even sharing economy stuff. Okay, next model is called location-based shopping. Okay, so location-based shopping is when the apps know where you are and suggest nearby stores or nearby with deals. Okay, and f-commerce. Okay, f-commerce means that shopping directly through Facebook, like buying from a business page without leaving the platform. Okay, something like that. The next one is called shopping with Twitter. Okay, shopping with Twitter. Shopping with Twitter might be following brands for exclusive deals or maybe using a hashtag to find the products. Okay. And then there are always, you know, the new innovative models popping up, like live streaming shopping events, the virtual trying on experience, or any AI powered social shopping assistants. Yeah, those the cool things are those models often combine together to create your new complete social shopping experience. Okay, now let's dive into one of the most important part of social shopping. Okay, it's called ratings reviews. Okay, rating and reviews, and then social recommendation. Okay, advice, comparison, and conversations. Okay, this is probably the social shopping features you use most often without even thinking about it. Okay, when we talk about ratings and reviews, there are actually several different types you encounter every day. Customer ratings and reviews are what regular people like. Okay, people like you to write after buying something, and those star ratings and honest comments you see on shopping apps or Google reviews for restaurants. Okay, those things, and experts ratings. Experts ratings and reviews come from a professional reviewers or influencers who test the products and give detailed opinion. Like the tech YouTubers reviewing the latest smartphones, or the beauty bloggers trying the new makeup. Okay, those kind of things. And the next one, the sponsored review. Okay, sponsored reviews are when the companies pay people to try and review their products, even though they should disclose this. Okay, and next one, the conversational marketing. Okay, so conversational marketing is when brands engage directly with customers in the comments, responding to questions and feedback in real time. Okay, and next, the video products review. Okay, it's it's super popular now, and I believe that you have watched many times someone on YouTube or on TikTok unboxing or testing a products before deciding to buy it yourself. Okay. And next one, customer testimonial. Okay, so these are success stories companies share about how their products help the real people. The brilliant thing about all these types of social recommendation is that they give you multiple perspective and real experience from actual users. It makes you feel way more confident about your purchase decisions than just looking at the products descriptions from the company, okay? And it's like having a huge network of friends giving you honest advice, right? Okay, and now let's talk about um, social recommendations and rewards and group buying, okay, deal purchasing and shopping together. Okay, these two are super popular social shopping models. Okay, I believe that you already experienced before. First up is the social recommendations and referral. This is when you share the cool products with your network through social bookmarking, like when you save or share a product link on your social media for friends to see. Okay, and then sorry, the referral programs is When companies give you benefits for bringing in new customers, how some apps give you credits when your friends sign up using your referral code. Yeah, Uber's, like Uber's, Food Panda. I'm not sure Food Panda. I think yes. They yeah, they do this kind of things. Yeah, referral program. And then social recommendation. Okay, social recommendation happens naturally when you tell your friends about products you love, and then there are always innovative new methods popping up for sharing and recommending products. Okay, now the second big model is group buying and shopping together, which is huge here in Asia. The deal purchase or the flash sales create that exciting limited time only. Okay, uh, the feeling where everyone rush to buy together. Okay, and group buying especially popular in China and spreading everywhere. I think also in Taiwan, right? And is when you get a better price by buying with other people. Okay, and think of these group purchase deals where you need a minimum number of people to unlock the discount, right? And real-time online shopping together is like having a virtual shopping parties where you and your friends browse and buy things simultaneously while chatting about them. So it's basically recreating that fun experience of going to the mall with friends, but doing it online where you can coordinate purchases, share opinions instantly, and even split the cost of shipping fees. So these models work so well because they combine the social fun of shopping with friends with the practical benefits of better prices and shared decision making. Okay. Okay, so now let's explore some really interesting social shopping models that become very popular nowadays. It's called shopping communities and clubs. Okay, these are like exclusive groups where people with similar interests come together to shop and share some recommendations. Okay. The private online shopping clubs work by invitation only. It's kind of like exclusive member clubs where you need someone to invite you to join. And then you will get the access to special deals or curated products. And there are also something called Kaboodle, okay, Kaboodle, which was one of the early examples of the unique social community focused specifically around shopping and sharing product discoveries. Okay, now let's talk about the other models that are innovative. Social marketplace is basically an online community that uses your social network to help you to discover, to buy, to sell products and services. However, here's the twist. It can include your own creation too. Okay, so imagine a platform where you can buy handmade items from friends and then sell your own artwork and then get services from people in your network and discover products through the people you actually know and trust. It's like combining Facebook with a marketplace, but everything is connected through your real social relationship rather than just random sellers. Okay. There's also direct sales from social network where you can buy products directly from businesses through their social media pages without ever leaving the platform. Okay, and these models are innovative because they make shopping feel more personal. trustworthy, and at the same time, it's community driven rather than just transactional. Okay, so now let's talk about what you should expect to see when you're using social shopping sites. These are the key components that make them work. First is the B2B social networking. Okay. So B2B social network, okay, it might sound boring, but it's actually pretty cool. Okay, listen. This is when businesses connect with other businesses through social platform to buy and sell products or services. You know LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn, but focus on actual transactions. It's like a LinkedIn, but focus on actual transactions. So where companies can discover the suppliers, they can negotiate deals and build the business relationship all within a social environment. The next one is called P2P selling, socially oriented person to person selling, buying, renting, and bartering. This is way more relatable to you guys. This is basically when regular people like you sell, buy, rent, or trade stuff directly with each other through the social platforms. Think about Facebook Marketplace, where you sell your old textbook, or those university Facebook groups where students rent parking spaces to each other, or even apps where you can borrow or lend items with friends. Oh, it's like turning your social network into a giant marketplace where everyone can be both a buyer and a seller. And then there's social shopping in the near future, okay, which is getting really exciting with new technologies like augmented reality, try-ons, and then virtual shopping with friends in real time, the AI-powered personal shopping assistants that learn from your social interactions, and even more seamless integration between social media and shopping. So the basic idea is that the social shopping platforms combine the social network features with commerce capabilities, will makes the buying and selling feel more socializing with friends rather than just, cold transactions. Okay, now let's talk about social advertising. Okay, so basically, it's how company use your social networks to spread their marketing message. This is all about social advertisement and social apps that turns regular people into advertisers without them even realizing it. Okay? This is part of the social advertising. Okay, first, there's called a viral marketing. Okay, viral marketing, which use the word of mouth or WOM method. This is when customers become so excited about the products or service that they naturally start telling their friends about it. Think about when you discover an amazing new bubble tea place and then immediately post on an Instagram story, or maybe tell your friends in a group chat. Okay, that's you doing the viral marketing for that business. Okay, and the company doesn't even have to pay for the advertising because you are spreading the word organically through your social network. It's called viral because it spreads like a virus from person to person through social connections. And then there's called viral blogging. Okay, viral blogging, which is basically the same word of mouth concept. Okay, but it's done by bloggers and influencers. You know those YouTubers, Instagram influencers, or bloggers you follow who review products, and then they do, unboxing videos or share their favorite finds. When their content gets shared widely and generates lots of buzz, that's viral blogging. Okay. The brilliant thing about the social advertising is that it feels way more trustworthy than the traditional ads because the recommendations come from the people you know and you trust. Okay, and maybe from the influencers you choose to follow rather than just random commercials interrupting your day. Okay, next one. Now let's talk about the location based advertisement and social network. Okay, this is the type of advertising that knows where you are and uses the information cleverly. Okay, you have definitely experienced this already, probably every day. Okay, first, there's something called a geosocial networking. Okay, geosocial networking, which is combining your geographic location with social networking. It uses cool technologies like geocoding and geotagging to create what they call additional social dynamics. So basically, it makes your social media experience more relevant to where you physically are. You know, Instagram can tag your location when you post a photo, or maybe the Facebook suggests nearby events or places, right? And the key concept here is geolocation, which is just a fancy term for identifying the real world geographic location of your internet connected device, whether that's your smartphone or or laptop or tablet. So when you open the Google Map and it knows exactly where you are, or when you get a notification from a food delivery app showing restaurants near you, that's geolocation. Okay. So the advertising part comes in when the businesses use this location data to show you the relevant ads. Okay, for examples, you might get a discount notification from a coffee shop when you're walking nearby. Yes? Yes. Or maybe you see ads for nearby stores when you're just browsing the social media. Yes, okay. Yeah, that's part of the geosocial network, okay? It's pretty smart because instead of showing you the random ads, you get advertisement for things that are actually accessible and relevant to your current location. Okay, just remember to be mindful of your privacy settings and decide when you want to share a location. Okay, good. Next one. Let's explore more fascinating world of location-based social networks and how they have evolved. Okay, the technology behind the social, behind the location-based social network is pretty sophisticated. Okay, it uses GPS, the Wi-Fi signals, and the cell tower data to pinpoint where you are and then connects you with the information in the social features. Okay. Okay. Examples of this evolution is maybe the Foursquare and to Facebook Places. The Foursquare, I'm not sure that you still use it nowadays or not, but it was so popular during my days, during my um, teenage. Okay, so it's one of the popular app to check in a location and then share where you were. with friends, almost like a game where you could become the major of the places you visit frequently. And then the Facebook, they adopt this idea with the Facebook places. And now the location features are built into almost every social platform, including like Instagram and TikTok, I believe. And this technology is especially powerful as a strategy for the small businesses. Imagine you own a small cafe near campus, okay? With the location-based advertising, you can target the students who are walking by your shop with special offers or reach people who frequently visit the similar cafes in the area. However, there are the privacy concerns we need to discuss. When the apps constantly track your locations, they're building a detailed picture of your daily routines, where you live, where you work, and where you spend your time. Okay. And some of the examples of the successful location-based applications, which is include the Uber Eats, yes, because it can show you the nearby restaurants. Can you give me another examples? Maybe for a game, your favorite fun things, Pokemon Go? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's create a social gaming around the real locations, right? Okay. Anything else? I think a lot, right? How about YouTube? When we talk about using YouTube for advertising, the most important concept is viral video. And this definition might surprise you. A viral video is basically any video that gets passed along electronically from person to person, no matter of what the content actually is. It doesn't have to be a funny cat videos or dance challenge. It could be a product review, a tutorial or an unboxing video, or even a small demonstration that people find valuable enough to share with their friends. The viral part just means that people are sharing it organically through their social network, which give it way more reach and credibility than the traditional advertising. So think about how many times you have watched a YouTube video because a friend sent it to you, or how you might share a helpful tutorial with your classmates. That's viral marketing. Okay, that's part of the viral marketing. And companies love this because when you share the video, you're essentially endorsing it to your personal network, which is much more powerful than a random ad. And then how about Twitter? Twitter now changed into X, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Okay, Twitter as an advertising and marketing tool works similarly, but with shorter, more immediate content. The brand can create tweets that get retweeted widely, use trending hashtag to join the conversations, or maybe create a Twitter campaign that encourages user participation. Okay, how about some other innovative ways? There are lots actually. First, these are there are the changing rules of the branding in social media, which is pretty fascinating. The traditional branding used to be about companies controlling their image through the carefully crafted advertisement. But social media completely flipped this, you know. Now, the brands have to be more authentic, more interactive, and responsive because the customers can instantly comment, can instantly complain or praise them publicly. And companies can just, broadcast message anymore. They have to actually engage in conversations and build the genuine relationship with their audience. Then you can use blogs for advertising has become huge too. The brands create the valuable content that people actually want to read rather than just an obvious ad. Think about those lifestyle blogs that naturally mention products or tech blogs that review the gadgets. Yeah, so that's advertising disguised as helpful content. And then special advertising campaign on the social media nowadays get really creative, like challenge on the TikTok, yes, and then the interactive Instagram stories or Twitter campaign that encourage users to participate with specific hashtag. And then you come up with the mobile advertising. It's now everywhere because that's where you spend most of your social media time. The companies design ads specifically for your phone screen. Use your location data to show your relevant offers and create mobile first content like vertical videos for Instagram stories or TikTok. Okay, so how the companies use social network for market research and strategy. This is really smart stuff that affects you as a customers. First, they use the social networking for market research. It's like having access to the world's largest focus group for free. So instead of paying people to sit in a room and answer questions about products, companies can just monitor what people are naturally saying on social media. They can see which products people love or hate, what problems customers are complaining about, what features they want, and even predicts the trends by watching what's getting popular online. So it's like having millions of people voluntarily sharing their honest opinions in 24 hours of 7 days. And then there's a feedback from customers through conversational marketing, which is when the brands actually engage in real conversations with customers on social platforms. You know that how some companies respond to tweets and then answer questions in Instagram comments or have customer service through the Facebook Messenger? Yeah, that's conversational marketing. Okay, so it's not just pushing ads at you, they're actually talking with you and learning from those interactions. And there will be an illustrative examples of how this works in practice. And okay, this is the examples. And finally, the social analytics and social intelligence in commerce. It's basically companies using data science to analyze all the social media conversations, posts, likes, shares, and comments to understand the market trends, the customer's behavior, and the business opportunities. So it's like the company is having a superpowered listening tools that helps them to understand what the millions of customers want. Okay, now this framework shows how the companies conduct market research in the social commerce world. And it's basically like a complete ecosystem. Okay, let's start from the center of the framework. It's called market research, which draws insight from 6 different areas that all work together. First, there's a social commerce foundation. Sorry. Okay, social commerce foundation. This includes all the social software. Oh, sorry, here. Social software networks and the media platforms that make social commerce possible in the first place. And then you have the social commerce application. Okay, the application like location based service, the group buying, and the social shopping. These are the actual tools and features customers use. Next, the social activities. These are all things that you do naturally, like writing recommendations, reviews, chatting about the products, having conversations, giving the ratings, okay, kind of. And the research tools is the technical side. The companies use segmentation to group customers and then collaborative filterings to make their recommendations, data mining to find the patterns, do the web mining to analyze online behavior, the metrics to measure the success, and the analytics to understand the trends. Next one, the organizational environment. It covers the business side, okay, the strategy planning, the policy making, the legal consideration, and then the corporate culture and privacy issues that companies need to handle. And finally, the implementation deals with the practical challenge, okay, justifying why the social commerce is worth investing in, and then talking about the security concern, adoption issues when getting customers to use the new features, and the integration, everything smoothly, okay? And the brilliant thing about this framework is that it shows how the market research in social commerce is not just about collecting the data, it's about understanding this whole interconnected system where the technology, the human behavior, the business strategy, and the practical implementations all influence each other. Okay, now it might comes to your mind how companies or how do we know something happens, or how do we know what people want through a social media? Okay, okay, so these slides will answer your questions. Okay, so this is all about the market research and strategy in social network. So it's like being a detective on social media to understand what people want and how the businesses can connect with them better. You know, you know how you probably check Instagram, the Facebook or TikTok every day? Well, the companies are doing the same thing, but they're looking at all the data, like how many people like a post, and then what comments they're leaving, or which videos go viral to figure out trends and what customers actually care about. So it's like when you notice all your friends suddenly start posting about the bubble tea, or maybe the new Korean drama that's a trend the business would want to catch on to. So it comes with the social analytics. Okay, social analytics. So a social analytics part is basically using the computer tools to analyze millions of social media posts and conversations to spot these patterns. Okay, it's almost like having a super powered way to eavesdrop on what the whole internet is talking about. Okay. Okay, so what activity you are doing on social media is being tracked by the companies. Okay, all these days. Okay, and the strategy part. Okay, we have the strategy part. That's where the companies take all this information and then decide how to create the better products and then write the better advertisement or even figure out the best time to post something so more people will see it. It's pretty much like having a crystal ball that tells businesses what people want before people even know what they wanted themselves. Okay, so now we're getting into the practical stuff. How do you actually do market research using social media platforms you already know and love? Think of it this way. Each major social network is like a different neighborhood where people hang out and talk about different things. The Facebook is like the family gathering where the people of all ages share everything, from baby photos to even the political opinions. So, if you want to understand what a broad range of customers think about your products, the Facebook gives you access to parents, grandparents, and working professionals all in one place. Okay? And then for the Twitter, now it's called X, it's more like the coffee shop where people quickly share their immediate reactions and hot takes. It's perfect for tracking the real time opinions about breaking news and new product launches or trending topics. And then for the LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn is like the business networking event where the professionals discuss the industry trend and the career stuff. Super valuable if you are researching the B2B market or trying to understand what the working professionals need. So the key is that instead of doing traditional surveys where you ask 100 people what they think, you can now just analyze thousands or even millions of posts, comments, and interactions across these platforms to get much bigger and much honest picture of what people really think. Because let's face it, people are way more honest when they are just casually posting on social media than when they are filling out a formal survey. Am I right? Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about how social media has completely changed the customer service. Okay, and I bet you have experienced this yourself. You know how when you have a problem with a product or service, so instead of calling a customer service hotline and waiting on hold forever, you might just post a complaint on the company's Facebook page or make a tweet and complain um, about them, right? So that's exactly what is called the social customer service is about. So companies now have to monitor all their social media channel in 24 hours of 7 days because customers expect quick responses. And here's the cool part. When a company responds well to one customer's complaint publicly, hundreds of other people see it too, which actually build a trust. Okay. So it's like having a customer service in a glass house where everyone can also watch. Now, the CRM, the customer relationship management, is basically like having a super detailed diary about every customer. So instead of just knowing, you know, John bought a phone last month, And then companies now track that John also follows them on Instagram, like their post about new features, complain about the battery life on Twitter, and share their promotional video with friends. These will help them to understand its customers as a real person with specific needs and preferences. So they can provide much better, more personalized service. So, it's kind of like how Netflix knows exactly what shows to recommend it to you based on everything you have watched before. Okay, so now talk about the social CRM. Okay, think of it like an upgraded the social media version of how the companies build their relationship with the customers. You know how you have different friends on different platforms, and then how you interact with them in different ways. Yeah. So customers now do the same thing with their customers. So social CRM is basically about creating a complete 360-degree picture of each customer by tracking all their interactions across every social platforms. So instead of just knowing that, okay, for example, Amy buy a laptop from your store, you now also know that she posted an unboxing videos on Instagram, and then asked a technical questions in your Facebook group, recommended your brands to friends on Twitter, and maybe even complain about shipping delays on your company's LinkedIn page. So the goal is to make every single interactions feel personal and meaningful. Whether someone is tweeting a complaint, commenting on your Instagram post, or sharing your content with friends. So it's like being that friends who remembers everything about you and always know exactly what to say or suggest. And for big companies, that's the enterprise and B2B part. This gets even more complex because they're not just dealing with individual customers, but also with the other businesses who might have teams of people all interacting with your brand across the multiple platforms. So you need to keep track of all this relationship and make sure that everyone feels valued and heard. Okay, now let's talk about the elements of the social CRM. Okay, so the social customer is at the center of everything. It's kind of like how you are the main character in your own social media story. So imagine you're shopping for a new smartphone. In the old days, you would just go to a store, ask the salesperson, and make a decisions. But now you are the social customer, which means that you're doing so much more. You're watching unboxing videos on YouTube, reading the reviews that other customers posted, asking questions in Facebook groups, maybe even tweeting at the company directly when you have concerns. Okay. So this diagram shows that you know have way more power and control. You can create a content, okay? Like posting your own review, and then you drive new communication channels, okay? You drive your communication channels. Like companies have to be on Instagram because that's where you are. And you control the whole process on how you want to interact with the brands. Okay. And the really interesting part is that the social environment on the right side, okay, the social environment on the right side, this shows that you don't make decisions in isolation anymore. You are constantly interacting with the people who think like you, and you trust what others customers say way more than what than the company's marketing team says. So companies now have to work with both traditional CRM, keeping track of purchase history, and the social CRM to monitor all these social interactions to really understand and serve customers like you. Okay, now we're getting into real world stuff. What happens when the companies actually try to implement all this social CRM theory we've been talking about? Here's the thing. It sounds amazing on paper, but in practice, there are tons of challenge. Think about you're running a small bubble tea shop in Taipei, and then suddenly you have to monitor Facebook, Instagram, Line, Google reviews, and maybe even TikTok for customer comments and complaints. That's a lot of keep track of. And the problems part of it includes things like having too much data to analyze. Like, how do you read through 1,000 comments a day? And different social platforms require different response styles. And the biggest challenge, customers expect you to respond super quickly and sometimes within hours. But here's where it gets interesting for small companies. The solutions and advanced applications show that the social networking can actually be a game changer for smaller businesses. So, unlike the big corporations that need expensive CRM software, a small company can use social media to build a really personal relationship with customers. Okay. For example, that bubble tea shop owner could remember regular customers' favorite drinks, respond to their Instagram stories, and create a community feeling that big chains cannot match. So it's like turning your business into everyone's favorite neighborhood hangout spot, but it's online. Okay, now let's talk about how big companies use social networking internally. And this is pretty different from what we usually think of when we hear social media. Okay, so instead of posting vacation photos or memes, imagine if your future workplace had its own internal Facebook or LinkedIn where employees could interact, share the ideas, and collaborate on projects. That's basically what enterprise business social network. Okay. Think of like a create a private social media platform just for everyone who works at the company. The benefits are actually pretty cool when you think about it. So instead of sending endless emails back and forth, the employees can quickly share knowledge and expertise. Like, hey, has anyone dealt with the technical problems before? Which speed up the problem solving and reduce the need for expensive business trips or long meetings. It also helps with recruiting because the current employees can easily share job openings with their networks, and it builds a sense of community within the company. It's kind of like how you feel more connected to your classmates when you're all in the same line group chat. Plus, it breaks down those traditional corporate barriers where maybe a junior employee in marketing could directly connect with the senior engineer to collaborate on projects, which would never happen in the old-fashioned corporate hierarchy systems. Okay, so now we're looking at the specific platforms that are designed for business networking. And these are totally different from the Instagram or TikTok you use for fun. And think of these as the professional versions of the social media where the goal is to make business connections, to find job opportunities or growing your career. You have probably heard of LinkedIn, but there are actually lots of specialized networks for different purposes. And the business-oriented public social networking platform like the Rise, okay, the Yammer, Microsoft Yammer, and the Business Social Network, Fidel, Episense, okay, and then you have um, entrepreneur networks. It's like a business, okay, startup nations, entrepreneurs. It's like exclusive clubs for people who want to share their own businesses or already running startups. So it's like having different social circles, just like how you might have one group of friends for gaming, another for studying, and another for sports. Business professionals use different networks for different purposes. Okay, so now we're diving into an enterprise private social networks. And this is where things get really interesting because we're talking about companies creating their own internal social media platforms that only their employees can access. Think of it like this. You know how your university might have its own student portals or internal systems? Well, imagine if that system worked more like Instagram or Facebook. But instead of posting about your lunch, the employees are sharing work projects, asking for help with the technical problems, or collaborating on presentations. So it's like basically like creating a private company only versions of social media where a software engineers in Taipei can easily connect and share ideas with the marketing persons in New York, or where the new employees can quickly find mentors and get up to speed on company culture. And the cool thing is that this breaks down all those traditional corporate barriers. So instead of having to go through your boss, then their boss, then someone else's boss just to ask simple questions, you can directly connect with the person you actually knows to answer. Okay? It also helps the employees to feel more engaged and connected to their work because they can see what others departments are doing and then celebrate the company's wins together and build relationship with colleagues they might never meet in person. Okay, so it's kind of like being in class, offline groups make you feel more connected to your classmates and make studying more collaborative and fun. Okay, so this is the diagram of the major interfaces with the social network. It shows all the different ways a company can connect with the social media world. Think of it like a company having a multiple personalities or faces depending on who they are talking to. Okay. Imagine you are ASUS or HTC, and then you need to be present everywhere your customers, employees, and business partners are hanging out online. So, first, you have your public face on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter where you post products, announcements, and interact with regular customers. That's the presence in public social network part. And then you have your professional LinkedIn, okay? Professional LinkedIn presence where you're more formal, posting about companies' achievement and recruiting talent. But here's where it gets interesting. The companies also create their own private internal social networks, like a company's only Instagram for employees to collaborate it and to share their ideas. They also participate in social marketplaces where they might sell products or services directly through the social platforms, and they use the modern web 2.0 for everything, okay, from video conference to collaborative product management. And finally, some some companies even become vendors themselves, providing the social media software or consulting services to other businesses. So it's like each company needs to be a social media chameleon, adapting to different platforms and audiences while maintaining their core brand identity. It's pretty much like you probably act slightly different on Instagram versus LinkedIn versus a family group chat, but you're still fundamentally you. Okay, now let's talk about how companies are actually using social network to run their businesses. And this goes way beyond just posting marketed content. There are three major areas where the businesses are getting really creative with the social media. First, the companies are figuring out how to interface with social networks for actual business operations. You know, like Uber connects drivers and passengers through the app. And then how the Airbnb uses social feature to build trust between host and guest. And then there's the commercial side. The companies are really doing the business on social platforms. Like when you buy something directly through the Facebook marketplace or Instagram shopping, or when the businesses use LinkedIn to find and close deals with other companies. But here's the really interesting part for you as the future of professionals. The social human resource management, okay, is changing how the people get job. Instead of just sending resume into a black hole, the company now scouts talent on LinkedIn, GitHub, or even Instagram to see your actual work and personality. They might post a job openings in professional Facebook groups. They use the social media to check out potential hires. Yes, yes, they're probably looking at your post and even conduct part of the interview process through the video calls or collaborative online platform. So it's like having the whole hiring process have become more social and transparent, which means that you need to think about your online presence as part of your professional portfolio. So it's not just about your personal space. All right, now this is where social networking gets really powerful for actual work and management. Imagine if your future workplace operated like giant smart community where everyone could easily share knowledge and solve problems together. Yeah, so the first part is called the managerial problem solving. It's basically about using the collective brain power of everyone in the company through social tools. So instead of a manager sitting alone trying to figure out complex problems, they can post it in on the company's internal social networks and then get input from the engineers, marketers, salespeople, and even interns who might have fresh perspectives. So it's like crowdsourcing solutions from your own employees. Think of it like when you post difficult homework questions in your class group chat, and then suddenly five different people offer different approaches to solve it. And the next one is the use of the Web 2.0 tool for managerial tasks. It's about using the modern interactive tools that you are already familiar with. The companies now use the internal blogs for sharing the updates. So instead of just boring email memos, the wikis for creating collaborative knowledge bases, like companies wide Wikipedia, and the Q&A platforms where the employees can ask and answer questions across departments. So it's basically taking all the collaborative features you love about social media, commenting, sharing, real-time collaborations, and applying them to actual business challenge. And it makes the workplace more dynamic, creative, and efficient than the old school top-down management style. All right, now let's talk about crowdsourcing. Okay, so crowdsourcing is basically like asking the entire internet to help you to solve problems or maybe to complete a task. And you've probably participated in this without even realizing it. Think about it is still this way. So instead of hiring one expensive expert or employee to do something, the companies throw the challenge out to thousands or even millions of people online and see who can come up with the best solutions. And you know how the Wikipedia works? That's part of the crowdsourcing. So instead of paying a team of the encyclopedia writers, they let anyone contribute to knowledge. And somehow it ends up being incredible, comprehensive, and mostly accurate. Or think about how Netflix used to have a competition where they offered $1 million to anyone who could improve their movie recommendation algorithm. That's crowdsourcing too. And companies love this approach because they can tap into way more creativity and expertise than they could ever afford to hire. Plus, they often get surprising solutions from the people with totally different backgrounds. For examples, graphic design, okay, graphic design challenge. It might get solved by someone who's not even a professional designer, but has a fresh, perspective. Or a technical problems might be cracked by a college student in Taiwan who approaches it completely different than the industry experts would. So it's like having access to the world's biggest brainstorming sessions where the best idea came from anywhere and anyone. And now let's break down exactly how crowdsourcing works. It's actually a pretty systematic process that companies follow, and understanding this could be super useful for you in the future career. Think of it like organizing a massive group project, but instead of just your classmates, you are working with people from all over the world. Okay, first, you need to clearly identify and define the problem you want to solve. This is crucial because if you're vague about what you need, you'll get messy, unusable result. Then you figure out who your target crowd should be. Are you looking for graphic designers, programmers, creative writers, or just regular customers with opinions? Okay. And next comes the fun part. Broadcasting your challenge to this unknown crowd through the social media, specialized platforms, or maybe through a contest. The key is engaging people in a way that makes them want to participate. Maybe you can offer a prize money or recognitions or just the satisfactions of solving a cool problem. Once submissions start rolling in, you evaluate everything and pick up the best solutions. So it's kind of like how your professors might crowdsource essay topics by asking the class for suggestions, then picking the most interesting one. Okay, so except instead of 30 students, companies might get thousands of responses from people with completely different backgrounds and expertise levels, which leads to a solutions they never would have thought of their own. Okay, now the collective intelligence is really fascinating concept that's at the heart of why crowdsourcing actually works. And you've probably experienced this phenomenon yourself. Think about it this way. Have you ever noticed that where your entire class works together on problems, you often come up with the better solutions than any individual students could create one? That's collective intelligence in actions. So it's basically the idea that group of people, when they collaborate and share ideas, can become smarter than even the smartest individual in that group. So the technical definition mentions all these fancy terms like the variation feedback selections and the differentiation integration transformation. But what it really means is that when you have lots of different people contributing different ideas, the variation, and then giving you feedback on each other's work, the feedback, and then the best ideas get chosen and improved upon the selections. The final result is usually way better than what anyone could have created working alone. So you see this everywhere. The Wikipedia is smarter than any single encyclopedia writer. The Google search result get better because millions of people clicked and interact with them. And even something like Reddit often provides better answers to complex questions than the individual experts because the community collectively fact checks, builds on each other's ideas, and then filters out the bad information. So it's like having a superpower where whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, now we're diving into the virtual worlds and social commerce. And this is probably closer to your daily experience than you might think. When we talk about virtual worlds, we're not just talking about fancy VR headsets or the science fiction stuff. We're talking about digital spaces where people hang out, interact, and yes, buy and sell things. Think about games like the Animal Crossing, where you can visit friends' islands and trade items, or maybe social platforms like Discord, where the communities form around shared interest. There are seven dimensions of the virtual worlds listed here. It shows how the businesses are getting creative in these spaces. The social space, okay, the social space is where people connect and chat. It's like how you might meet your friends in a game lobby, okay? The entertainment space is where the companies create fun experience to engage the customers, like the branded events in Fortnite, a concert in virtual worlds, and the transaction space is where the actual buying and selling happens, like purchasing skins in games or virtual goods. And the really interesting ones are the experimental and demonstration space, where the companies can let you to try on the products virtually before buying them. Next one, the collaboration space. This is where teams work together in a virtual environments, and even the fantasy space where the brands create imaginative experiences that wouldn't be possible in the real world. It's basically like businesses are creating their own little digital universe where the customers can interact with their brand in completely new ways. Okay, so these lists are basically shows how virtual worlds have become like a parallel universe for business. And some of these applications are probably happening right now without you even realizing it. Okay, let's break it down with examples you can relate to. Now, the first one, the storefronts and online sales. It's like when you buy items in mobile games or purchase digital goods on platforms, while the front office and help desk means companies are setting up customer service centers in virtual spaces where you can get help through the avatars instead of phone calls. And for the advertising products and demonstration is everywhere. Think about how the brand sponsors events in games like Fortnite or create a virtual showrooms where you can walk through and examine the products. And education and training parts, the number 6 and number 7, are super relevant to you. Many companies now conduct employee training in a virtual environment, and some universities are experimenting with the virtual classroom and labs. And then the next one, the tourism promotion. Number 9. It's really cool. You can now take virtual tours on hotel, the cities, and the attractions before booking the trip. And the virtual trade shows, okay, virtual trade shows become huge during the COVID-19 when physical events were canceled. The entire business conferences and exhibitions moved online where people could network, could attend the presentations, and even walk through the virtual booth, just like at the real trade shows, but from their computers at home. Okay. Okay, now we're getting into really exciting stuff. How the virtual worlds are becoming genuine business ecosystems where the real money changes hands and actual commerce happens. The trading visual goods and properties part is probably something many of you have already experienced. Think about buying skins in League of Legends, purchasing rare items in mobile games, or even trading digital collectibles like NFTs. But it goes way deeper than that. People are literally buying and selling virtual real estates in platforms like Decentraland or the Sandbox, where a piece of digital land can cost thousands of real dollars. And then the major drivers of this trend include things like the fact that people spend huge amounts of time in these virtual spaces. Some gamers spend more time online than in physical social spaces. And then the growing comfort with the digital payment and the blurring lines between the entertainment and the commerce. Okay. However, there are also real concern and limitations that businesses have to think about. The issues like the security, okay, the challenge of creating meaningful customer relationship in digital spaces, the question about the intellectual property rights for virtual goods, and even basic things like how do you handle customer service when problems occur in a fantasy world. It's like we're creating a whole new economy with its own rules, opportunities, and challenges that didn't exist even 10 years ago. Okay, so this section is basically about how entertainment has become completely social and interactive, which is probably exactly how you consume most of your entertainment already. When is the last time you have watched a movie or listened to music completely alone without sharing it or discussing online? Yeah, the platform mentioned here are the Last FM and Pandora, were early pioneers of the social entertainment. The Last FM would track what music you listen to and connect you with the people who have similar taste, while Pandora created personalized radio stations and let you share discoveries with with the friends. But nowadays, this concept has exploded everywhere. You're probably streaming shows on Netflix and immediately texting friend about plot twists, and then sharing TikTok videos that make you laugh, or discovering new music through what your friend posts on Instagram stories. So yes, the mobile web 2.0 devices is part of huge uh because your smartphone has basically become your personal entertainment hub that's always connected to your social network. You can instantly share funny videos, live tweet while watching a drama, or even watch shows together with friends through a party apps. It's completely changed how we experience entertainment nowadays. So instead of passively consuming content alone, we're now actively participating in shared experiences, creating our own content and making entertainment a social activity where the discussion and sharing often becomes as fun as the original content itself. So, social games are basically what happens when you combine gaming with the social media. And I bet that most of you have played this without even thinking about the social aspect. You know that those games you play on your phone where you can connect with Facebook friends, they send the lives or gift to each other. And then they have this kind of compete on the leaderboards or maybe or team up for challenge. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're talking about here. Think about games like Candy Crush, where you can see your friends' progress and then ask them for extra lives. Or the mobile games where you can join the guilds or clans with the other players. And the genius of the social games is that they tap into our natural desire to connect, to compete, and to collaborate with the people that we know. And it's a way more engaging to beat your friend's high score than some random strangers. And from a business perspective, this is incredibly smart because the social features will keep the players to engage much longer. Because, you don't want to let your teammates down, right? So they help the games to spread organically through friend network. Okay. So it's called a free marketing. And then they create the opportunities for the monetization through the social features like sending gift or showing off their premium items to friends. And the companies have realized that when gaming becomes social, it transforms from just entertainment into the social experiment that people are more emotionally invested in, which means they will play longer, they will spend more money, and they are more likely to recommend the games to others. Okay, and now the reality check section. So basically, um, you know that the social commerce sounds amazing, right? But what are the actual challenges when the companies try to implement all of this stuff? And trust me, there are plenty. The complexity of the social commerce implementation is real because the companies are essentially trying to manage the multiple moving parts at once. So they need to be active on various social platforms and they need to integrate those with their existing business system that train the employees to handle social customer service and somehow make it all work together seamlessly. Then there is the tricky question of the return on investment. How do you actually measure if your social media efforts are making money? Because it's not like traditional advertising where you can easily track. Like we spent $10 and we got $20 sales. But with social commerce, maybe someone sees your Instagram post and then discuss it with your friends and read reviews on Facebook and then buys your products 3 weeks later. How do you track that journey? Okay, so the risk factors are also the serious concern. What happens if your social media account gets hacked? Or if a viral negative review damages your reputation? Or if you accidentally post something culturally insensitive, okay? And the risk to users includes like privacy concern, the data security, and the potential for online harassment. So it's like social commerce over huge opportunities, but the companies need to be really smart about managing all these potential downsides while trying to capture the benefit. And then how to actually succeed, okay? The social commerce. And you know that it's surprisingly practical advice that you could apply to almost any big project in your future careers. The reputation system management. this part is crucial because in the social media world, your reputation can make or break your business overnight. One viral complaint or praise can completely change how people perceive your brand. So, companies need the systems to monitor, to respond to, and to manage their online reputation across all platforms. The strategy for success is really smart and methodical. First, you need to really understand both your internal capabilities and the external environment. Okay, so internal is about, do we have the right people and the technology? While for the external environment, what are our competitors doing? Where do our customers actually hang out online? And then comes the brilliant part. Start with a small pilot project. So instead of launching a massive social commerce initiative across all platforms, maybe just experiment with the Instagram shopping for one product line. Or maybe try to running customer service through the Facebook Messenger for month. So this way you can learn what works and what doesn't without risking your entire business. And finally, they honestly assess the result. Okay, did it actually improve the sales, customer satisfactions, the brand awareness? And then decide whether to scale up, to pivot, or abandon the approach. It's like testing the waters before diving in completely, which is exactly how you should approach any major innovation business. Okay, so how we put it all together, okay? This is where we look at the real world examples and practical guidelines for making the social commerce actually work. The examples and the success in the small medium enterprise. The SME is the small and medium enterprise. This is super relevant because they show what you don't have to be a huge corporation like Apple or Google to succeed with the social commerce. Many small businesses like local restaurants, the boutique stores, and startups have actually done really well by being smart about their social media strategy. And think about those small Taiwanese bubble tea shops that blows up on Instagram, or maybe local fashion brands that build the huge followings through creative TikTok content. That's the SME success in social commerce. And then it comes with the strategy issues and the policy guidelines. It's these sections cover the 90 crafty stuff that companies need to figure out. It's like how to handle the customer's complaint on social media, and then what kind of content is appropriate to post, how to protect the customer privacy, and how to train the employees to represent the brand online. And then it comes to the adaptation strategies. So this is all about the practical steps of actually implementing everything that we have learned. It's one thing to understand the theory, but quite another to actually get your whole organization on board, to allocate the budgets, to train the staff, and execute a coordinated social commerce plan. So it's like the difference between knowing how to drive and actually navigating through the Taipei traffic. The theory is important, but the execution is where the success really happens. Okay, now we're wrapping up with this picture. How companies actually make money from all this social networking stuff and where the whole field is heading. Okay, first, let's talk about the revenue generation strategies and social network. So this is basically about turning all those likes, shares, and comments into actual profit. And there are tons of creative ways companies do this now. Think beyond just traditional advertising. There's the affiliate marketing where the influencers get paid for promoting products, and then subscription services for premium social features, and then selling virtual goods and digital content, sponsored content that doesn't feel like ads, and even using social data to improve the other parts of the business. And the increased revenue and its benefits, it's not just, it's this part shows that when companies get social commerce right, so it's not just about making more money, they also build the stronger customer relationship, and then get the valuable market insight and reduce the marketing cost because satisfied customers become free promoter, and then create more engaging brand experience. You know that the IBM's Watson and social commerce, it points to the future where the artificial intelligence will help the companies to analyze the social media data and then to predict the trends and to personalize the customer experience. So even automated parts of the social commerce is like we're moving towards a world where the AI will help the businesses to understand and to serve the customers better than by making sense of the massive amounts of social media data that will be impossible for humans to process manual. It's pretty exciting stuff for your future career. Okay, so this diagram is basically showing the complete ecosystems of how the modern web applications make money. And it's way more sophisticated than you might think. At the center, you have the rich user experience, which is basically what you interact with every day. Think of apps like Instagram or TikTok or even your online banking app. But here's where it gets interesting. There are multiple revenue streams flowing in different directions, okay? As you can see in this diagram. And then users contribute content like your post and then reviews or data. And in return, the companies can monetize through the subscriptions like, the Spotify premium and advertising, which those targeted ads you see, and then the platform's fees, like when you buy something through an app, and then by selling the API access to other companies who want to use their data or services. The messed up concept on the left shows how different applications can combine the services. It's like how a food delivery app might integrate with the Google Maps, with the payment system, and the restaurant database all into one seamless experience. And then the the nets, okay, on the right. Okay, so basically, um, it's the principles that make all this work. Like treating the web as a platform means everything. It's connected and then can work together. The data as the next intel inside. It means that the data itself have become incredibly valuable. Okay, think about how much your personal data is worth to advertisers, and then harnessing collective intelligence means that um, companies get smarter by analyzing what millions of users do. It's like a giant interconnected money making machine where everyone is participating to create a value for everyone else. All right, so that's all of this chapter 7. So I will meet you in the next chapter. Okay, goodbye.